So Cyrus II of the Persian Empire, the Jews' return to Israel was based on an edict that he proclaimed, allowing them to return to their homeland. Do you think this was a humanitarian move? Was this a move of geopolitics? I'm saying that based on some comments that are attributed to Cyrus the Great. Things like, bequeathing wealth, dignity to your people, and they will love you, things like that. So there is, to me, a pragmatic element to this act by Cyrus the Great.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, it is pragmatic. So, I mean, so I always like to, explain to my students that in modern history today, the Persian Empire gets a pretty bad rap. And the reason is because of the Greek and Persian wars, right? The Persian invasion of Greece in 490 and 480 BC. And so, and most of our information about that comes from the Greeks. So the Persians tend to get portrayed in a pretty negative light in kind of retrospect. But in fact, the Persian Empire was one of the most enlightened empires of the ancient world. If you look at it in the sense of giving native peoples under their rule, what we would call today religious freedom. Because their predecessors, the Assyrians and the Babylonians, for example, who had conquered the kingdoms of Israel and Judah respectively, had forced the upper class populations of those kingdoms to go into exile. And the policy of the Persians was just the opposite. They repatriated exiled peoples to their homelands, not just the Jews, but other peoples as well. So from the way we would look at it today, we would call it, let's say, humanitarian, but it wasn't motivated by, that's a concept that I don't think at that point. It really was very pragmatic. And the reason, there were several reasons for this. Number one, happy subjects made loyal subjects, or loyal subjects made happy subjects, right? So first of all, you're going to have those people who are under your rule be loyal to you. They'll be happy. The Persian king, like many ancient kings, like actually pretty much all ancient peoples, believed in a pantheon of gods, right? And so the perspective is, well, if we repatriate all of these peoples to their native lands and allow them to rebuild their temples and worship their gods, those gods will also be on our side, right? And favor of those gods as well, right? The more gods, the better that you have supporting you. And of course, having well-functioning temples throughout the country, throughout the empire, generated a lot of revenue that was taxable. So altogether, it was really a win-win situation for the Persian king.